Good afternoon, my name is Emma Hamilton. So, to what extent has society's role impacted women through the view of sports in a negative way? Some impacts are female athletes undergo the trouble of sexual abuse within the sports industry. There are also several stereotypes on female athletes depending on the sport they play, and these female athletes go through unequal pay in many sports organizations. Sexual abuse. Larry Nassar was a USA gymnastics team doctor that convicted a crime of being a serial rapist and sex offender towards many young female athletes. For example, these women shown in the pictures were sexually abused by the former USA gymnastics doctor. Here is Gabby Douglas and here is Michaela Marani. As you can see in the graph, female athletes had a higher number in not just male predators, but overall, compared to the male athletes, female athletes were way higher. As you can see, stereotypes such as "you throw like a girl" can affect these female athletes in a very negative way. In the stimulus provided by College Board, Serena Williams says, since she had no power in this arena and more interested in understanding her role in the relation to those who came before her. We have to be thankful, and we also have to be positive about it so the next Black person can be no one on that list. Williams also was docked for her harsh behavior in the court in 2009. She was fined with $82,500 for her angry outburst, though she is far from the only player to face this punishment. Female athletes undergo unequal pay in many sports organizations they represent. Female athletes and male athletes have a very large spread of their money situations. For example, NBA players received 45 of the league's operating income, and in 2017, women's players just got 21% of the league's revenue. Athletes in 2017 were very low. For example, Serena Williams only earned about 1/3 of what Kevin Durant earned, and the 5 male athletes on the left were much higher than Serena Williams. Counter argument. Female athletes change the way society looks or judges them, but instead through a positive point of view. For example, some of the female athletes that made an impact on society in a very positive way were Maria Sharapova, Brittany Griner, Danica Patrick, and Serena Williams. Maria ended up rewriting the rules about sports marketing and for these female athletes. Brittany outspoke in the court case on the LGBTQ issues positively. Danica Patrick made history by becoming the first female race driver in the Daytona 500, and Serena Williams is famous for revolutionizing women's sports, for this example, women's tennis. Limitations. Female athletes have some mental health issues because of what society has a role on them. Female athletes start to either play different throughout the sport they play, or they just quit because they can't handle the pressure on what society has to say about them. In this example, Ronda Rousey quit MMA fighting career because of the drama between the fights she went up against and what society was making up of those situations. Solutions. Female athletes make it important to outline and have a voice. These female athletes can also define these issues and make them into something positive. To conclude, female athletes undergo a lot with the type of sports they play and even being in the pro industry, such as topics like sexual abuse, stereotypes on women, and racial issues, and last but not least, unequal pay. But yet, some of these female athletes still manage to push through these obstacles and do what they enjoy best. Here are the sources from the presentation, and thank you. Are there any questions you have for me?
All right, I have two questions for you. How did your research question evolve as you moved through this whole process?
So I originally was going to research on the positivity of these female athletes and through a wider spread, but I ended up narrowing it down to just negative because there was more research on the negative impacts.
Okay, and what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
I would consider them to research more about the surveys on what women have to say about these impacts on society, and